Good morning, students. My name is Harshada More, and I'll be handling this subject for HR specialization. Subject name is Labor Legislation. It's already too late to start the syllabus, but I'll just make sure that I'll be covering maximum portion within given period of time. Um, I'll be giving notes after completion of each unit, but please, you people, make sure that you are referring the notes plus these reference books as well. So you will be getting the thorough knowledge of the subject. So today is the first class, so I thought I should go with the discussion of the syllabus first, and then starting the units one by one. Please, for one more thing, I just want to tell that is, if you people are facing any kinds of difficulties, please ask me and make sure you are clearing your doubts as and when I'm starting my syllabus. So, today is the first class. As I have said, let's discuss the syllabus first. Okay, so the here labor legislation. In labor legislation, first we'll go with the objective, why this subject is there for you people to understand the various facts of industrial relations and make the students aware about the labor legislation. So what are the acts, what are the different laws which are related to the companies or factories, so that you will be get a thorough knowledge about this particular subject. Unit 1, which talks about the labor legislation, includes the different acts such as Factory Act 1948 and its silent features. Second, Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and its silent features. It also includes the Industrial Employment Standing Order Act 1946. This is all about the Unit 1, which includes the three acts. Unit 2 talks about the compensation and welfare. It includes Employee State Insurance Act, Bonus Act, Gratuity Act, Workman Compensation Act, Provident Fund Act, Minimum Wages Act, and it includes a brief introduction and implications of it. Unit 3 includes industrial relations, where you people have to study about the meaning, definition, importance, objectives, and scope of industrial relation. Then is industrial dispute, where there is introduction of industrial dispute, types of it, causes, settlement, procedure. Next is employee discipline and grievance redressal procedure. These are all factors which you have to study in unit 3. Next is unit 4. Name is trade union, where you people will be studying about principles of trade unionism, objectives, functions of trade union, factors affecting its growth, essentials of successful trade union. Last is unit 5, the name is participative management, where we'll be discussing about meaning, objectives of participative management, workers participation in management and its objectives, level of participation, collective bargaining, its features, importance, principles of collective bargaining, international labor organization, recommendations and conventions. So I can understand this is a completely law related subjects, so you people may feel certain kind of difficulties, but try to understand it in a simple way, and make sure you are mentioning the acts or sections while writing the answers in the examination. So let's start today's class. We'll be discussing the units one by one. Okay. Okay. So unit 1, which is the name of the unit 1 is, so unit 1 is talks about the labor legislation and its introduction. uh, okay, let's start. So what is the meaning of labor legislation or labor law? Labor law mediates the relationship between workers, employing entities, trade unions, and the government. Collective labor law relates to the tripartite relationship between employee, employer, and union. Individual labor law concerns employees' right at work and also through the contract of the work. So labor law or labor law or labor legislations are why they are useful in the organization is to just cover all the laws or acts related to the employment, wages, social and economic securities. So it explains a relationship among the employer and employee, and plus it explains the relationship between the employer employee with labor organization, so that it will be helping them during the time when there are different issues arises. So when there is an organization, it doesn't mean the activities are going in a one flow, it is in a one go. No, there will be disputes, there can be chances of mishappenings, there can be chances of different arising of different issues. So we required certain acts, we required certain laws, so that we can come out of those issues. And this act is here, as I have said, it will avoid the disputes between the employer and employee, because automatically the employer, the how there is what kind of a relationship is there between the employer and employee will automatically reflect the performance of the organization. And in India, we have a number of laws, but sometimes we can feel it as a crucial one. But still there are many acts which are helping the organization to run in a smoother way. Okay, next is, what are the objectives of labor legislation? What are the objectives? Let's discuss. First one is working condition. So employees who are working at the organization should get a proper working condition. It should not be something where there is a no lights, where there is a too dull kind of a thing. People are not able to work in such situations where they are feeling uncomfortable to work. So provide a proper working condition is the most important aspect of this particular labor legislation concept. Second is wages and salary. Labor legislation make sure that people or employees who are working at the organization are getting the salaries on a fixed days, or they are getting a fixed salaries, or they are getting appreciated for the works they have done. Next is, what are the principles of labor legislation? First one is principle of protection. So what does it mean? Employees who are working in different chemical factories or in a pharmaceutical factories, they may have certain kind of risk of hazards, because there can be producing production of certain hazardous wastage out of it. So it may leads to health issues, it may leads to health issues among the employees. So to protect them from those kind of hazardous things, this particular act is there. Second is principle of social justice. So principle of social justice in the sense, each employee at the workplace should get equal chance to to state their opinion, or they should be treated equally. There should be equality among the employees. Next is principle of regulation. Principle of regulation is like to regulate the balance of power in the relation of the two dominant groups within the organization. Next one is principle of security. Principle of security is to provide security. It can be related to job, or it can be related to the income which arises due to some kind of a mishappenings. Then last one is principle of welfare. Welfare in the sense to provide certain basic amenities, such as good working condition and paying the wages on time, so that it will automatically help employees to work in a more dedicated way. So these are the principles of labor legislation. Let's come to the next point. Factories Act 1948. Okay, the first Factory Act was came into existence in the year 1881. It was in the year 1881. But what this act was focusing on, it was focusing on protection of children, and it was for the health and safety measures. So it was nothing more than protecting the children, nothing more than protecting the children, as well as health and safety measures. Second was 1891. This covers some uh, loopholes from the 1881 acts. Then in 1911, it was related to safety provisions from the fire accidents, and again it focuses on the worker safety. Then 1934, in 1929, a royal commission was set up, and to review just previous all the acts which have came into existence, and made some recommendations, and then came into force in the year 1935. And lastly, the act which is there for our syllabus is 1948. So actually, previously when I was saying about this particular 1934 act, it was includes about the factory inspections and observation of the factories. So so that they should watch that the activities are going in a good way. Next is 1948 act, this one. So this act, it covers all the aspects about the factories, namely approval, licensing, inspection of the authorities, health, safety, welfare, working conditions, working hours, annual leave, and penalties, etc. So this is what all 1948 acts have covered. Let's move to the next part. What are the silent features? When I'm talking about silent features of Factories Act 1948, so this particular act was applicable all over the India. Okay, even including the state of Jammu and Kashmir, there was no exception. These particular act was is also applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as all the states, union territories as well, such as Dadra Nagar Haveli, Pondicherry, Div Daman, etc. So this act is applicable to all, even this act is applicable to all the factories in India, including it is a central government it is established by the central government, state government, and it can be from the any government institution. So this act actually came into force on 1st April. It has been come on existence on 1st April 1949. So this is what the existence of this particular act. First of all, I'll go with in general objectives of this act. What was the objectives? Okay, what are the objectives? So objective is, we can say, to consolidate and amend the laws which are related to working conditions, and then we can say to prevent them to prevent employees to working from too long hours, and third one is to safeguard the employees from hazardous work. As I have previously said, sometimes there can be a wastage which will come out of from the organization, that may cause some health issues to employees. So to safeguard the employees from such issues, this is what the objective of this particular act. Next is to ensure annual leaves, that is the paid wages. This act has certain definitions. So let's discuss the definition as per section 2 of 1948 act. Okay, so the first definition is about adult. What is mean by adult? As per section 2 subsection, that is as per section 2 and clause A, it is a person who have completed his age of 18 years. Okay, the person who have completed 18 years of age is called as adult, as per section 2 clause A. Next is adolescent. Who is a adolescent? As per section 2 clause B, The person who have completed his age of 15 years but haven't completed 18 years of age, that person will be called as adolescent. Third one is child. So who is a child? The person who has not completed 15 years of his age will be called as a child as per section 2C. As per section 2C. Next is who is a competent person. Any institution or a person recognized by the chief inspector for the purpose of carrying out tests or exams required to be done in the factories are said to be as competent person as per section 2CA. Next one is hazardous process. When I'm talking about hazardous process, is that it is as per the section 2 subsection, it is subsection CB. Okay, so it is any activities in which we have to take some certain kind of a special cares. So it may, because it may result in affecting the health of the employees, or it can also result in pollution which will disturb the nature. Next one is young person. Okay, next one is young person. So a person who is either a child or an adolescent is called as a young person as per section 2 clause D. Next one is day. What is the the definition of day? World Day as per section 2 clause E. A period of 24 hours beginning at the midnight is said to be as a day as per this particular definition. Next one is, what is the definition of week? As per section 2 clause F, it is a period of 7 days beginning at the midnight on a Saturday night or such other night as may be approved in the writing for a particular area by the, it can be by the chief inspector of the factory. Next one is prime mover. As per section 2 clause H, any engine, motor or other appliance which generates or otherwise provides the power, anything that which have been mentioned above that gives the power, so that is called as a prime mover. Next one is transmission machinery. So transmission machinery is as per section 2 clause I. It is any shaft, wheel drum, pulley, system of pulleys, it is coupling or driving belts. So this is what the transmission machinery. Next is machinery. It includes prime movers, transmission machinery and all other appliances whereby power is generated. Okay, so these are the certain definitions which comes under the 1948 Factories Act. Next is, who is occupier? As per occupier is this is as per section 2N. Okay, so who is occupier? Occupier means anyone who is having ultimate control over the affairs of the factory. Okay, whoever is controlling the activities is said to be as an occupier. So there are various cases which we'll discuss. First is in case of firm. In case of firm or association of individual, it can be any individual or the partner or the members of the firm will be considered as a occupier. Okay, the next is in case of company. The company's directors are called to be as an occupier who will be having a complete control on activities of the company. Next one is factory. So this factory, the factory which are factory established by the central or the state government, so the control will be in the hands of any representative who is appointed by the state or central government. Okay, so this is what the occupier means. Next is we are having a definition of factory. What is factory? So factory means any premises including the precedent thereof whereon 10 or more workers are working or were working on any day of the preceding 12 months, and in any part of which a manufacturing process is being carried on with the aid of power or is ordinarily so carried on. Or so this is what the factory means. Factory altogether, in a simple words, factory is a place where people are working together for the mutual benefits. That can be benefits for the individual or the benefits of the factory. So this is what we have discussed in today's class. Let's I'll give a brief summary of what we have discussed today. So we people have discussed certain important aspects such as, okay, so first one we have discussed as what is the meaning of labor legislation. Then we have discussed what are the objectives of labor legislation. Then we have discussed what are the principles of labor legislation. It includes principle of protection, principle of social justice, principle of regulation, principle of security, principle of welfare. Next we have studied the some brief history about this particular act and a brief introduction about this Factories Act 1948. Then we have discussed, while discussing the silent features of this Factories Act 1948, we have also discussed how this act is applicable to entire India, and what are the objectives. We have also discussed what are the objectives of this particular act, and we have discussed what I'll repeat once again. In 1948 act we have discussed a brief introduction. We have discussed about this particular act. Then we have discussed what are the objectives of this act. Okay, and we have discussed certain definitions which includes in this act. So we have discussed the definitions as well. So these are the various definitions we have studied in this. It includes adolescent, child, competent person, hazardous process, young person, day, week, prime mover, transmission machinery. Next, we have also studied what is the meaning of occupier and who will be a occupier in case of firm, company, or a factory. Next is we have lastly discussed about what is the definition of factory, and this is what we have discussed in today's class. I can understand this is a completely law related subjects and it includes certain difficult words, terms, but try to understand and try to use the same terms while writing in examination. This is what very important. So if you people have any kinds of doubts regarding the topics which we have discussed today, please do ask. Make sure you are clearing your doubts as and where we are completing the chapters one by one. Once we are done with the one unit, I'll be giving you people notes. Please refer the notes plus the recommended books. So this is what about the first class. Thank you.